Hello, it's Saturday morning, Saturday 16th of August, 9 o'clock coming up. I thought I'd get in the greenhouse and do a quick video before it gets too hot, before the sun comes over, which is just over there, about to peep above the trees. As I said before, this is year 3 on this plot. It's been an odd summer for me. I've been a bit out of love with the plot, honestly. It was a lot of uncertainty about whether I was going to keep the plot or not. I'm sharing it with a couple, and so it means I only had half the plot, but they've decided to give up their half, and that means I can take over the whole plot myself. So it's all in my name, and I can plan properly because I know that I'm going to be staying here for the foreseeable future, and that gives me a bit more comfort, gives me a bit more enthusiasm, to start getting things done again. I've got lots of plans. Always have lots of plans. We'll see how many of them get to fruition, but yeah, there's lots to do. So I've got half of the plot now as well to rehabilitate. We'll come to that in a minute. But this is year 3, and this year's focus is on diversity and resilience. We are in a rapidly changing and tumultuous world. Climate, geopolitics, everything is coming to a head. And we need to be more resilient in ourselves and our communities in order to cope with this. Part of that for me is this allotment, being able to supply my family with healthy, nutritious food, avoiding supermarket prices, avoiding this, the stupid supply chain. I had some garlic the other day, it came from China, ridiculous. So it's supplying my family with food, healthy, nutritious food, and keeping myself healthy as well. Getting outside, keeping fit, in nature. It's that diversity of experience as well. It's completely different from what I do in work. It's different from what I do with the family. The family will come up here and enjoy it as well, once it's safe. And they don't get brambled to death, and they will obviously help out as well. But so it's diversity of experience for everybody. It's good for your mental health, and actual living soil has been proven now to be good for your health as well. Getting your hands in soil gets your dopamine going as well. Soil microbes have now been linked to your gut microbe, which links to your brain. Everything's interlinked, everything's connected. So growing good, nutritious, healthy food organically without any chemical inputs or artificial fertilizers, obviously that's the aim. Building a healthy living soil, the diversity of microbiome and all those microbacterias, fungi, all those soil creatures, increasing the populations of pest predators as well. So diversity equals resilience, and the way I'm going to be doing that is through my interest in polycultures. I've always been interested in that kind of thing. I'm not very much one for straight rows of cabbages and just sowing them in one season and then harvesting a glut of them and trying to deal with that. Courgettes, why do people grow more than 2 courgettes? I don't know. Anyway, polycultures, and my interest in polyculture started in the 80s with Jeff Hamilton and his ornamental kitchen garden. One of my absolute heroes in gardening, down to earth, practical. You got the feeling you could do anything if you followed his advice. And his ornamental kitchen garden program showed how he planted up this garden with a mix of flowers and vegetables, all higgledy-piggledy. Beautiful it was, and it still exists up at his garden. I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, I'm planning a visit next year to have a look at it. So that's, and later on you had Hugh Fern Stall doing his wild cook on the wild side, was it? And then River Cottage, obviously, showing the connection between nature and food and foraging, cooking, and community as well. And then a bit later on you had Alice Fowler doing an edible garden, which was a chaotic polyculture, but very abundant. So those 3 people, those 3 TV programs were very influential on me. But as well now, there is I've got my notes here, sorry. Stephen Barstow, the extreme salad man, and I'll be talking more about him later. He just started growing food for, foraging and growing food for himself for his health, and made a salad with over 500 ingredients. It's a world record salad. He grows over 2,000 edible plants in his garden, and his garden is on the Arctic Circle. Incredible gardener and very knowledgeable about perennials, and yeah, focusing on salads and how healthy they are. We've had Hoag come up with this 30 plants a week for health, gut biome. So variety is the spice of life. Diversity in your diet as well as everything else is good for you. Breeds resilience in your gut biome. And lately, Michael Hoag, who's a permaculturist, but quite a modern one, I would say, more about transitional permaculture, growing polycultures, edible hedges, and more practical, most practical permaculturists I've read in quite a while, and he's all over social media at the moment. Michael Hoag. Those inspirations, just a few. You got even John Evelyn from 1690s or whenever it was, who wrote a book about salads, with over 75 salad plants in his garden, and one of the first examples of a garden planner. And I might see if I can get a picture, put it up here, from then, about what salads to grow and the ingredients for salads. So going back that far as well. All about diversity. Polycultures, not necessarily all mixed together, just lots of different things. Square foot gardening is a kind of polyculture, but each plant is in its distinct square foot. Ornamental kitchen gardens, like I've said before, biointensive growing, which is about increasing the yield, so closing the plant spacing together so you can get more different varieties in one bed. Even if you do it a row at a time, you've got 30 different rows instead of 10 rows of one thing. The other thing about me is that I need diversity in my interests. Even if it's, if you call gardening, growing your own food one interest, I like looking at different methods. I've got a growing collection of gardening books going back to the 1900s and before, with different guides to growing, different methods, the greenhouses, growing undercover. One of the main themes in this collection is the growth of organic no-dig movement going back to the 1920s. I'm collecting pamphlets and books about that, and interesting to see how gardening has changed over the past 150 years. It is actually going back more to what it was before. If you think about peat, that's only a relatively recent introduction. Only really got popular in the 70s and 80s, and before that people were using loam, but and now we're seeing that extraction of peat is problematic, so we need to adjust that. And cocoa coir has been touted as one of the answers, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. There are some problems with that as well, but I think the real answer is compost. If you look at a lot of these books from the start of the organic movement, it's all about compost. Compost was king. Compost would solve all your problems. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But one of my aims this year is to be mostly sufficient in compost. So that means composting everything, and in fact even growing some stuff specifically for composting. Composting in the compost bins, composting in place, green manures, building this soil health through humus, building the soil health is key to the success of this. I would say the other key is the diversity of the planting. I'm going to be doing experiments around that as well. So we've got the more compost, grow your own compost type thing. That is going to be one of the themes. Another theme is going to be I want to reduce the amount of plastic I use, and I want to aim to be a plastic free plot. That's a big hairy ass goal, I know, and maybe it's impossible, who knows, but the first step in that is no new plastic on the plot where possible. When I was renovating the top bit there, rehabilitating the top bit, the amount of plastic and rubbish underneath was atrocious. And again, I'll show you a picture of the pile of carpet and plastic. There must have been a ton of it, honestly. It was ridiculous. And I expect similar down the bottom when I do that bit as well. The microplastics we know now are incredibly unhealthy for us and the planet. So anything I can do in my little place is a little step towards getting better, and hopefully we can learn together about how we do that. I'm keen to hear your experiences as well and what you're doing. I saw a great thing the other day about replacing plastic watering cans with catering kettles, big stainless steel catering kettles. I'm on the lookout now on the Facebook Marketplace. If anyone's got one, let me know. More accurate pouring as well. So things like that, and using hemp or burlap for crop protection instead of fleece and plastics. To that point, I won't be getting a polytunnel. That is off the cards. I will not be getting a polytunnel. I'll be utilising my greenhouse and building some cold frames and cloches, which saves a lot of planning, because I'm not going to do it, and the cost as well. So a plastic free plot is another goal, a long-term goal, this one, but we'll see how we progress through that. And then there's my polyculture experiments. Just looking at different ways of growing things in a polyculture type of. Maybe we should start growing a diverse planting. I don't know. You can see the sun starting to pop over the trees down. Yeah, my polyculture experiments. So I've got my square foot garden, which I planted up a couple of weeks ago. So we'll be seeing how that goes. This autumn I'm going to be sowing an edible meadow in a couple of weeks, and also I've got sowed some module plants, sowed some seeds in modules for my purple patch. I'm very interested in the benefits of anthocyanin rich vegetables. I believe not only are they healthier for you, for me, for us, but they are more resilient to climate, pest and disease pressures. And to that point, next year in spring I will be doing a purple versus green square foot garden with no added inputs, just compost, same types of plants in each one, so red cabbage and green cabbage, that kind of thing, and seeing how that progresses over the spring and summer seasons. So looking forward to that one. Also I've got my bucket grow challenge. Now this was inspired by another one of my gardening heroes, who's sadly not with us anymore, but Steve from Greenside Up. He did announce a bucket challenge. How much can you grow in a 16-litre bucket? It never got anywhere, unfortunately. I'm not sure why, but that really sparked an interest in me, and I've been doing bucket gardens similarly for a while. But I'm going to start a bucket grow challenge, a year-round challenge this is. So each month I'll be planting up a bucket. The key point is the 16 litres of compost, not the container it's in. So I will probably transition to fabric bags, not plastic buckets, but the plastic buckets you get in B&Q for £1. That is the idea. It's commonly available, it's cheap. 16 litres of compost, doesn't cost a lot, and a few seeds. So the idea is how much can you grow in that bucket over a 90-day period, so basically a season. And I'm going to be doing one of those every month for a year. I started a trial one, bucket zero, let's call it, just to see how it did. It's done quite well, and I'll show you that in another video soon. But yes, in September we'll be starting the September Bucket Grow Challenge. Given 16 litres, how much can you grow over 90 days? And I'm measuring yield and possibly nutrition calories. So that's going to be a year-long thing. That'll keep me interested. You've got a purple patch, you've got the green versus purple, we've got the edible meadow, we've got a square foot garden, and the last thing, and there will be more, I'm sure there'll be more, but this is the last thing I've got planned at the moment, is a perpetual salad patch. So an outdoor bed, not a big bed, 1 metre by 2 metres, and seeing what salad crops I can grow year round, and that will include mini glass squashes and the hemp and burlap fabric for frost protection, and then for using the same fabric for shade protection in the summer. But I'm hoping to start that in September as well. And on top of all that, I've got to clear this other half of bramble. So that transformation project will be ongoing. My aim for that is to get it cleared down and covered by December at the latest, at the very latest. There's a lot of junk which I'm going to try and repurpose where I can to avoid adding to the landfill. Some of it will inevitably go to landfill, but I will try and repurpose. So if you have got any ideas of what to do with 15 metal lockers, let me know. That is a diversity of projects for me, and keeps me interested, and hopefully will keep you interested as well, and you're welcome to join along. This is not a contest, it's a grow along thing. If you want to join in, do it your way. Happy to hear from anybody in the community tab, which I want to use a lot this year. So I'm hoping to post a lot, use the community tab, and really get things going. This YouTube channel essentially is about recording what I do and keeping me accountable, if only to myself. So I love your company on the way. Essentially that's it. It's just a bit of a mashup, bit of a polyculture of ideas, if you will. Like I say, I'm a gardener, not a farmer. I don't have those pressures of having to produce a ton of cabbage. All I need to do is produce some food, preferably most of my vegetables for my family, and just enjoy it. There's more than one way to do anything. You do you, grow your own way. This is the way I'm going to grow, and I'm not going to knock anybody, and in fact I'm interested in how other people grow. That's why I collect all those books, and why I've got nearly 300, over 300 channels I'm subscribed to on YouTube. Yeah, love hearing about how other people grow. All these ideas, it's a diversity of ideas, diversity of knowledge, all helps us be more resilient. So if something happens, we can think, how did somebody else solve that problem? That's all I wanted to say really. The sun's coming up now, it's going to hit the greenhouse any minute now, and the fans are going to kick in, and it's going to get hot. I've got to get these tomatoes sorted and finish off my survey of the plot. So yeah, my name's Andy, and I open up the plot.